White Sox should never get in baseball fights. Do we have to go to Robin Ventura, Nolan Ryan? We have to do that. Our guest last week, AJ Pierzynski, getting punched out by Michael Barrett. And then we had this weekend. There's history there between the Guardians and the White Sox, and this season, and the division is open there for the AL Central because it's the worst division in all of baseball. Even though the Guardians aren't having a great season, it's there for them. But yeah, just another mark against the White Sox in this god-awful season. But man, did I enjoy taking a look at all the mock-ups, people making fun of it, and all the videos that were getting posted on that one. Tim Anderson, as soon as he puts the Dukes up, he goes right damn down.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I watched it so many times. As soon as Tim Anderson, he looks like he's ready to go. I was like, oh, he's got this. And then
Dude,
Ramirez is swinging
doing?
like this, just going buck wild and lands one. I know. Yeah. I was just like, wow. Nice try to look like you knew what you were doing in that fight, but you didn't last long, Tim Anderson. One thing I was thinking is, we've talked about it, who would be this year's Phillies? Joe, could it be the Cubs?
Could.
Or is that too much of an overreaction?
No, I don't think it's an overreaction at all. I mean, you're talking about a team. We are discussing it like they've taken over the lead in the National League Central, which they have not done. But I still think they're going to win the division. We've been consistent on that show that that's going to happen. Yeah, if you're looking for a team, I mean, yeah, it's been Braves and Dodgers dominating all year. They're going to get the buys. And after that, do you trust any other team? I don't know that San Diego's going to make it. They're below 500 now. That was a fun series over the weekend against the Dodgers. But on the National League side, the Cubs are the team that you've got to circle when it comes to that. Baltimore doesn't qualify. They've been too good all year. A wild card team that's going to sneak in. I guess you could make the argument of any team in the American League East could make some sort of a run because, you know, they've been challenged all season. But yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense, Aaron, pointing to the Cubs.
The total has gone over in 5 of the Dodgers' last 5 games on the road. And the over has also hit in 5 of the Dodgers' last 5 games. I really don't expect it to slow down or stop here. Lugo is obviously the better pitcher compared to Gonsolin, but so I'm torn. Team total 4.5 for the Dodgers. The over is even money. I think that's intriguing, and I also like the over 9, which I believe is -120.
You know, the Dodgers have the Padres number. We know this. San Diego up against it. I believe they're now a couple games under 500. But Gonsolin does have poor history against San Diego, which is why Lugo the slight favorite here. So I don't have a play, but it sounded like you had one, Ed, so I'm curious.
Yeah, in fact, I will be tailing Aaron here with the over 9 in large part because I have this really weird fixation on fading Tony Gonsolin and not seeing the fruits of the labor, so to speak. You look at WOBA x WOBA difference, and he's one of the likelier candidates to fade. But the thing is, he's been this way for a long time now. And it's not really worked out. It's not really been profitable to fade him because for some reason, this WOBA x WOBA difference persists. So here we are once again in a matchup where perhaps the Padres should shellac him, but I'm not expecting that to happen. And so is there another way to quote unquote fade Gonsolin without fading him? To me, the best way to do that is just to take the over 9 because this Dodgers offense is just dynamite right now. You've got a bunch of guys who can smack it out of Petco. So I go, you know what? I think that sort of resolves all the conflicting forces in my life with this game is just to take the over 9 and be done with it. I get we're going to be hearing this between now and mid-September ad nauseum that if Tua stays healthy, then watch out for the Dolphins. And I've probably been accused of saying this more than once because in terms of wide receiver rooms, few may be better than what the Dolphins possess. But the question, though, is at offensive line for me. Teron Armstead needs to be healthy. That is a question mark. They do have new additions in Isaiah Wynn, Dan Feeney. They do need to play some of their best ball. It's one of those things where, when Tua gets hurt, it's not always his fault or, him holding on to the ball too long. It's possible that this offensive line could just break down because you're only as strong as your weakest link. So, yes, a lot of things do have to go right for this Dolphins offense to be effective, but it is possible that it does. And certainly the ceiling is really, really high, about as high as, any in the AFC East. So at plus 290 to win the division, I think there's value there, knowing full well that they do need some injury luck along the way, Joe.
I have plus 300 to win the division. Look, it's tough with props because everything is tied to Tua. Everything.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm going to do is I'll just embrace the high variance that you get with this, because if you do get the full season out of him, great things can happen. And if you don't, okay. But at least we're going to get a juicy payout if he is out there for the entire year. I can't do Tua props because of the games missed in the past, and that is obviously a concern. I trust Vic Fangio so much, even after losing Ramsey, that this awful pass defense can get to the middle. If they are in the middle, as far as pass defense, because it was a joke last season. If they're somewhere close to the middle, and I trust Fangio to be able to do that, this team can absolutely win arguably the best division in football. And if we're fading the Bills in some way, we have questions about the Jets and how it's at least going to start. The Dolphins are sitting there for you.
Everybody keeps pointing to the bottom line, right? They keep pointing to how much money somebody's going to make. This conference is going to make more money than this conference, and this conference is going to make more money than this conference. And this is something that I thought about for a long time. I thought about it long and hard. This is not about the total amount of money. It's not about the total revenue that each school gets. It's not about total revenue each conference brings in. It's about stopping the other people from making money. Money is important. Yes, you can buy things. You can pay your coaches. You can pay your staffs. You can have analysts. You can have 30-person coach analyst staffs. But at the end of the day, what the money does and at the end of the day, it's not about money. It's about control. And now they can control what other people have. And so they have the ability to shut out people from stealing coaches, the ability to shut out people from being able to recruit across the country, the ability to shut out people from hosting games, the ability to shut out people from getting to the playoff. And so even as the playoff expands, in theory, everyone's like, oh yeah, more people are going to get in. But as this conference expansion happens, conference realignment happens, what we're seeing is, oh, we'll just add the teams that we're going to make it anyways. And now we're just what we're going to do? We will get more money, but the reality of it is you get less money. ACC, less for you, because you might get one team in, we're going to get 4 in. Big 12, more for you in theory, but less for you. You might get 2 in, but we're still going to get 4. And if we got 12 teams, we got 4 SEC, we got 4 Big 10. That's 8 teams from those 2 conferences combined. And then we're looking at 4 guys. We got 4 pieces. That's not good for a team like a Boise State. That's not good for a team like a Cincinnati. That's not good for a team like that. So that's the part to me that's going to be pretty interesting. And again, with Clemson, Florida State, Miami possibly moving, and then UNC, UVA, and Duke, that's going to be a really interesting element to this. But I think control is the key, because control is stopping people from making money more than it is just making the money.